What's good, people? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, let's talk Joyce versus Bermain Stavern for a few minutes. And it's only going to be a few minutes. Firstly, Bermain Stavern was awful. We're talking about a former WBC heavyweight champion of the world. He looked awful, was awful. And some people are giving him plaudits that he came and tried his hardest. You're acting like this is voluntary service. He got paid. He's getting paid, people. He's coming to box and he got paid to box and we're giving him plaudits for boxing. Go figure, go figure. But the one thing I always say, look, talent is one thing. I've said this a few times on this channel, but I'm going to repeat it again. Talent is one thing. Not everyone can be a Vasyl Lomachenko or Alexander Usyk or Floyd Mayweather in terms of talent. One thing I ask of you is come in fit. One thing I ask of you, do your road work, do everything. Come into that ring as fit as humanly possible. Like Chris Eubank Jr., right? We all know that Chris Eubank Jr., talent-wise, isn't up there with some of the talented middleweights or super middleweights we've seen before. We know that. But one thing he is up there with them is fitness and dedication. And that's what I ask you to do. Bermain Stavern yesterday walked into that ring, I'd say 80% undercooked. 80%. He might look at Joyce and say, you know what, Joyce, you're more talented than me. You're an Olympic silver medalist. Everyone's talking about you, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? I'm going to come into the ring and I'm going to be fitter and I'm going to be stronger than you. Not. He came into the ring embarrassing. Just embarrassing. And he decided, you know what? I've got enough in the tank for 4 or 5 rounds. Because after 4 or 5 rounds, he was blowing out of his arse. And it was embarrassing. And Joyce wasn't that much better. Joyce wasn't that much better either. Look, Joyce is... It's weird because obviously everyone calls Anthony Joshua robotic, right? I mean, I've heard people say that, even though I don't think AJ is robotic, but people make this comparison with Frank Bruno, saying AJ is a bit too muscular, a bit too robotic. I think AJ is a bit predictable, but I'm not having robotic. Joyce is both predictable and robotic. And I almost feel like he's getting worse. I actually feel like he's getting worse. I don't know if it's because he's now with Abel Sanchez, because you have to admit there is a trend when it comes to Abel Sanchez's fighters, well, they start to look a bit ploddy and robotic. Gassiev looks ploddy and robotic. GGG looks extremely ploddy and robotic. And now Joyce looks like that as well. Joyce doesn't look smooth. His punches, his 1-2 are just so obvious. The setups are so obvious. I'm just not on the Joyce hype juggernaut train bandwagon. I'm just not. I think if he fights anyone with a bit of boxing brain, anyone with a bit of stamina, yes, he can punch, but everyone can punch in the heavyweight division. He could be in trouble. I mean, the holes and the openings that he presents to you are just glaringly obvious. I mean, I was watching it yesterday. I actually typed, this fight is in slow motion. It's in slow motion. I don't like to discredit anyone that gets in the ring, but they both fought like it was in slow motion yesterday. And Bermain Stavern was awful. And normally when someone's that bad, the opponent looks very good. Joyce didn't look much better. Again, looked stronger and looked the fresher of the two, because he is. But that's it. They are talking about the potential of him, well, they were talking about the potential of him fighting Luis Ortiz if Luis Ortiz gets through Hamer. What? Luis Ortiz would embarrass him. Honestly, it would embarrass him. Luis Ortiz is far too skilled. And some of the openings that... Look, Stavern cracked him a couple of times. Some of the openings that were presented to Stavern, if they are presented to someone as high caliber as Luis Ortiz, or anyone else like a Povetkin or even a Pulev. I'm not going to talk about the other guys, not talking about the top. I'm just talking about the guys that are supposedly like 4, 5, or 6, or 5, 6, 7. They'd beat him. So they've got to really have a look at what they do next with Joyce. Because yes, I understand they're trying to fast track him, but they've just got to be careful. Because ability-wise, he's still got quite a few holes. And again, I don't know if Abel Sanchez is the right trainer. I don't think Abel Sanchez will fix those holes. Abel Sanchez might make him a better attacking fighter, but in terms of sorting out your defense, and that's what you need in the heavyweight division, I don't think Abel Sanchez is the right man, but looks like he's going to stay with Abel Sanchez. But in terms of what next for him, very interesting. It won't be Luis Ortiz. Abel Sanchez said that fight's not happening. I think they're smart. That'd be stupid. But I'm not overly excited with Joyce. I can't lie to you. I'm not overly excited with Joyce. I wouldn't mind seeing him in with someone that can hit back. Takam's a good name. Chisora would be a good one because Chisora can hit back. I don't know what's left of Chisora after the Dillian White performance, and Chisora wants Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker will be a very good one for him because I think Joseph Parker's speed and punch power will cause him all sorts of problems But that's what they want to put him next. They want to put him in and around someone in the top 6, 7. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. He's obviously got the size, but he is so upright, so static, so slow, so ploddy. No. I mean, I don't want to say he's not going to win a world title because, I mean, you never know how the belts could end up in the next 2 or 3 years, but I'll be shocked if he wins a world title. And let's talk about this WBA gold something belt he won. What is going on? I mean, WBA have got, obviously they've got a champion in AJ. They've got a regular champion, I think, Emmanuel Char, I think. They've got an interim champion. I'm sure they've got an interim champion. And now they've got a gold champion. Why? What does it mean? What does it mean? It's just stupid. It's just stupid. I'm guessing that they might try and chuck him down the Emmanuel Char route so he can win the regular belt. And then whoever's got the interim belt, he can then win that. And then eventually it becomes mandatory for AJ. I don't know what the plan is, but that belt is as worthless as a WWE belt that you can buy in Tesco. It's absolutely worthless. Anyway, guys, what do you think? Let me know. Peace.